What if I told you that millions of people across the world are quietly rejecting America? Not with bombs, not with bullets, but with their wallets. No Coca-Cola, no McDonald's, no Hollywood movies, no Apple phones. From Europe to the Middle East, from Asia to Africa, a silent movement is growing. They call it a boycott. But this is not just about products. This is about power, politics, and punishment. Tonight, we ask a dangerous question. Is the world boycotting the United States? And if yes, why now? Stay till the end, because what you're about to hear might change how you see America forever. A boycott is not new. It's one of the oldest political weapons in human history. No violence, no war, just refusal. You don't buy, you don't watch, you don't support. And slowly, the pressure builds. In the past, boycotts brought down empires, corporations, and governments. But something different is happening today. This time, the target isn't a company, it's a country, the United States of America. When did the anti-US boycott really begin? The global boycott of the United States did not begin with a hashtag. It did not begin with TikTok. It did not begin with protests. It began with memory, a long memory. The roots, post-Cold War America. After the Cold War ended, the US emerged as the single most powerful nation on Earth. No rival superpower, no equal challenger. For Americans, this was victory. For many others, it felt like something else, unchecked authority. The US expanded its military presence across continents. It influenced governments, economies, and currencies. At first, many countries accepted this dominance, even welcomed it. But dominance has a cost, and over time, the cost was paid by ordinary people. The Iraq War, a turning point. The 2003 Iraq War became a psychological breaking point. Millions around the world watched. A nation invaded, a government collapsed, civilian lives destroyed, all justified with weapons that were never found. In the Arab world, in Europe, in Asia, people began asking, if America can do this to Iraq, who's next? This was the first time mass global protests openly targeted the US, not its enemies, America itself. Afghanistan, the war that never ended. 20 years. That's how long the US stayed in Afghanistan. For 2 decades, the world watched bombings, refugee crises, broken promises, and when the US finally left, suddenly, chaos followed. To many nations, this wasn't just a military failure, it was moral exhaustion. The question became, why should we trust American intervention anymore? Sanctions era. Economic punishment. Then came sanctions, lots of them. Sanctions against Iran, Russia, Venezuela, China. To Washington, sanctions are non-violent pressure. To the rest of the world, economic warfare. Entire populations suffer, inflation, shortages, unemployment. And when people suffer, they remember who did it. From anger to action. For years, people complained. Then, slowly, something changed. Instead of just protesting, they started withholding money, withholding attention, withholding loyalty. The boycott didn't explode, it crept in quietly, and by the time the world noticed, it was already spreading. What are the trigger points? Trigger 1: Middle East conflicts. Across the Middle East, calls to boycott American brands exploded after repeated US involvement in regional conflicts. Social media flooded with posts saying, "Why fund a country that funds our destruction?" Starbucks, McDonald's, Pepsi, Hollywood films. Suddenly, brands became symbols of foreign policy. Even when companies denied involvement, perception was enough. Trigger 2: Sanctions as a weapon. The US uses sanctions more than any country on Earth. Iran, Russia, Venezuela, China. To Washington, sanctions are non-violent pressure. To the rest of the world, economic warfare. Entire populations suffer. Inflation, shortages, unemployment. And when people suffer, they remember who did it. Trigger 3. Cultural imperialism. Hollywood, Netflix, music, fashion. For years, American culture dominated global screens. But critics say, America doesn't export culture, it replaces ours. This sparked a cultural backlash. Countries started promoting local cinema, regional streaming platforms, homegrown brands. Rejecting American influence became an identity statement. Countries leading the boycott, a global shift. This is not a single movement. There is no headquarters, no leader, no official declaration. Yet, across continents, the pattern looks familiar. The Middle East, the emotional core. In the Middle East, boycotts are deeply emotional. American brands are often viewed as extensions of U.S. foreign policy, whether fair or not. During conflicts, McDonald's stores face protests, Starbucks sales drop, American brands trend negatively online. For many young people, boycotting is not about economics, it's about identity. A statement that says, we refuse to fund those who fund our pain. Even when companies deny involvement, trust has already eroded. And in politics, perception is reality. Russia, forced separation turned pride. After US and European sanctions, American brands left Russia en masse. At first, it was chaos. Then, something unexpected happened. Local alternatives emerged. New brands replaced fast food, clothing, technology. Over time, many Russians began saying, we survived without American brands. Maybe we never needed them. What began as punishment turned into self-reliance, and self-reliance fuels long-term resistance. China, nationalism meets consumer power. In China, boycotts take a different form. They are state-aligned but consumer-driven. Trade wars with the U.S. sparked Buy Chinese campaigns, social pressure against American brands, viral backlash against companies seen as anti-China. Buying local became patriotic. Refusing American brands became loyalty. And once nationalism enters the marketplace, there's no going back easily. Africa, a quiet awakening. Africa's boycott is not loud, it's subtle. Younger generations increasingly ask, why do we consume Western brands when our own economies struggle? There's a growing push for African-made products, local entertainment, regional trade. America is not hated here, but it is no longer automatically admired, and that shift is powerful. Europe, moral distancing. Europe rarely calls it a boycott. Instead, it's framed as ethical consumption, sustainability, political awareness. Yet behind closed doors, many Europeans say America's values don't always align with ours anymore. Hollywood dominance is questioned. Tech giants are regulated. Military dependence is debated. It's not rejection, it's distance. The common thread. Across all these regions, one truth connects them. This is not hatred of Americans. This is rejection of dominance. People are saying, we want choice, we want dignity, we want control. And that, more than any slogan, is what makes this movement dangerous and powerful. Is the boycott justified? Or is America being unfairly targeted? Comment below, I want to hear your opinion. Like, subscribe, and share, because these conversations matter. This isn't just politics. This is the future of global power.